Hello, Christian and Edward. It's very
hello.
Very nice for me to welcome you at a new Luminspino talk. This time we chose to invite Mr. Christian Soblon. Christian is joining us from Brussels. I know Christian for an extensive length of time. I suppose that almost 20 years, if I'm not mistaken. And I always know that if you want to find out something about the real future of Europe, then you go to Christian. So Edward is with us today as well as usual. And Edward, I would like to invite you to kick the Luminspino Powwow for today.
Thank you very much, Raluca, and good morning, Christian, and welcome. So I think the reason why Raluca has asked me to be here today is that our topic is entrepreneurship. And I'm a failed entrepreneur. It's a little known fact that I had a greetings card business about 20 years ago, and it went very well for about 5 years, and then things didn't go so well. And so I think I know what I did wrong, but Christian, could you maybe give us an overview of the skills and abilities and the knowledge maybe that you need to be an entrepreneur? What makes you entrepreneur ready?
Yes, Edward and Raluca. I think you have to look to your own psychology, your attitude, of course, knowledge, but not knowledge that you have learned in a book or at the business school, and also to be able to anticipate, and finally to have a good communication skill. And maybe empathy, especially if your company recruits staff. So let's start by the first question. What type of entrepreneur do you want to dream of? So you can see there are a lot of different types. You can be a solo entrepreneur, so you don't grow really, you don't recruit staff. You could be a very ambitious entrepreneur. You can be a very innovative entrepreneur. Nowadays, we have sympathy for social entrepreneur. And in some regions, maybe you will be entrepreneur by necessity because you don't find a good job or there is no job in the field that you would like to work. Then comes the second, the attitude. Are you a real leader? Are you open to other people and collaborative? Are you innovative? Are you critical thinking? Are you risk-taking? Can you focus on your mindset? If I take my personal, I like to work in a project, but as soon as the contract is signed, I have no longer interest to implement it. So that's make you a real problem if you want to become an entrepreneur. The other point that I would look at is the type of management you will put in place in your business. Are you authoritarian or more paternalist? Are you able to delegate responsibility to some people? Or are you even open to make trials and accept that people fail? But if you accept that they fail, they have to recognize quickly that they go to the wall and not spend the money until somebody realizes that was not a good idea. Are you chaotic in the management, or are you so focused that you are stubborn, which also makes a risk at the end of the day? On the next point, what type of your organization are you willing to put in place? Are you hierarchical structure? Nobody can spend a cent without asking you to sign a piece of paper.
No.
Or are you looking more on a functional structure, or even divisional structure to say you work on that project and you make your team and you report to me instead of me coming every day? Of course, I was manager of RADA. I think over 30 years, I never enter an office of one of the colleagues and ask, what are you doing now? Because I trust that they will deliver at their own speed or own manner. And as soon as it was there on my desk when I need it, it was okay.
Christian, we're about halfway through. So could I maybe ask Raluca to respond to some of the things you said, because Raluca has just set up her own business. And I'm wondering if you recognize yourself in this portrait of somebody who might be hierarchical or cooperative or controls every penny, or can you recognize yourself in this description?
Well, actually, I would have been very happy if I could see the presentation of Christian about entrepreneur already 1 year ago. Because everything that you see in the websites or in books, it tells you about the how you should be an entrepreneur. They never ask you actually what type of entrepreneur are you, what's your psychology, what's your mindset, what are the emotions that you feel every day once that you are facing the work as an entrepreneur. So well, definitely even in my previous job and also in this one, I am that type of manager that actually trusts the people, that they are motivated enough and enthusiastic enough to take their tasks to completion. And also I tend to keep well-built structure every day. So actually every day there is a plan going on. Yet I don't keep this as a constriction. So I don't see structure that it should be something like a boundary. It should be something that propels our actions further. So I very much resonate with the fact that we need to provide more support for entrepreneurs in terms of what matters to them, how they feel about it, what type of leaders they are, where they want to grow, much more than just business plan, lean canvas, and all the structures that are based on theory.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Christian, one of the things I noticed in your presentation was where you talked about the family attitude to entrepreneurship. I mean, I come from a family of railwaymen and bankers, and the idea of setting up my own business for my parents, that would be terrible. You know, just don't do it. It's too risky. What's your thoughts about the attitude of your family?
Okay, if I can start with my grandfather, he was a farmer. And for me, farmers are the first entrepreneur in history, because they have to take a lot of decision and with a lot of incertitude. You don't manage the weather, for instance, but you have to choose the crops, you have to do, and even often the woman of a farmer is also a kind of entrepreneur. If I remember my grandmother, she went three days on the market to sell the eggs and the chickens and the butter who was produced at the farm. Yes. So my grandparents had two sons, my father, which I will define as a perpetual would-be entrepreneur. So he had in mind to create his job. He was a bookkeeper, and he finished as a commercial director in a cloth industry, mid-size. But my mother was risk adverse, and she said, well, we have what we have. Maybe you can earn more, but it's too risky. And she was coming from a region, Wallonia, where people went to a big factory for generation, and there, you know, you have not to take risk. You just do the job that you were assigned, especially if you are not a manager.
Your mother sounds like my mother.
Yeah, his brother.
Why would you want to do that?
Was not really good at school. So around he was more than 50 years old. He became what I called an ego entrepreneur, and even a late ego entrepreneur. because he believed that he was cleverer than the boss of the company he was working for, and it was growing chicken. He created his company and was successful for 5 years, but he never accepted an advice from nobody. He didn't even accept that you take an advice. My father, as I mentioned, he was bookkeeper, commercial, so he could have just see or discuss or analyze a balance sheet, or to ask him, go to a bookkeeper, a professional one, and look to. And of course, when there was a change in the market, he failed. So you are not
Christian,
the
I'm
only
terribly
one.
sorry. That was my phone telling me we are out of time. So we can take a bit of time. So you still became self-employed, and you run your own business, don't you? So how did you overcome this attitude in the family of don't do it?
I define myself like a soft entrepreneur because I create 4 non-for-profit organizations, and one is still in life after 30 years. And that makes the family quiet to say, yeah, it's risky, but not so risky, because you don't engage the family capital or whatever. Although you said that somebody in your family was a bank, it was funny enough that when we start to rent an office, when I create a RADA, I had to put my house in counter guarantee for 3 months of rent of the office.
Yeah.
So you see that even there, the risk adverse might stay. My wife at that time say, hey, be careful. Huh?
So maybe, I'm afraid, I'm going to ask Raluca for her thoughts about this, and I'm wondering if it's changed your mind about Luminspino, and then I'll hand back to Christian.
Yes. Well, actually, somehow looking into the future, I am absolutely certain that I would like to stick to this type of life. That is the life of an entrepreneur. That is definite. And
it suits you, I think.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, indeed, there is this higher risk that is always looming somehow, but there are much more advantages and payoffs that. Well, first of all, the freedom, and then the possibility to create more intensively. So definitely, and this is for the also the takeaway. Maybe we are heading into a future where more and more people from the planet will become entrepreneurs. It's not an end in itself, an aim in itself, but nevertheless, it's an interesting perspective and exciting perspective.
And finally, Christian, if Raluca had asked you for advice, probably she did, when she set up her business. No. What's the best?
I forgot.
No, you didn't. No.
I forgot.
Very interesting. That's very revealing. So if she had asked you, what's the best piece of advice you could have given to her?
I think I had to advise her on what will she be able to make people dream about it. Mm-hmm. So I believe that there are 4 or 5 needs in society. There are obvious needs, like today you need food, you need health, you need housing, etc. There are a lot of express needs. A lot of things are too expensive. So can you make a low cost something about it? You need to have better healthy food, etc. The third, there are real needs that you can see in society. With the aging population, I faced every day ICT literacy, lack of support, even for women, there is no children care if she wants to be a businesswoman with traveling or late evening meetings, etc. There are a lot of unsatisfied needs today, cybersecurity, drought-resistant plants, so you can go everywhere. Of course, you can have also societal needs. Just think about plastic reduction or recycling. And also, are you able to create a new need and to make people addict to your products, like Apple or an iPhone or whatever? So what do you believe you will be able to make people dreaming, and in the meantime to have also personal satisfaction?
Very good. Thank you so much.
And this is the price to pay, or to balance the pain versus the personal benefit to it. If I may,
I think we need to close. I'm terribly sorry, Christian. I think we need to.
Okay.
So may I just hand back to Raluca and thank you both for this lovely conversation this morning.
Okay.
Thank you, Edward. Thank you, Edward.
Thank
Thank you, Christian. This talk is opening as well the gate for the workshop that we will host together for the OECD, Christian and Luminspino on Tuesday, March 22, about boosting women and youth entrepreneurship in Romania and in Europe. So, well, I leave you with these thoughts and see you in the next Luminspino talk. Thank you once more, Christian and Edward, and have a bright day.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Really
Bye.
well. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.